Here we go. Right. Welcome to the Costa Rica Mate team, heading off at the end of this month, which is all very exciting. I am Millie Whitehead. I am one of the co-founders of The Leap, and me and my lovely team have been are in charge of getting everything organized for you and will be there in the background while you're out in Costa Rica, making sure that everything goes according to plan. So, the purpose of this little gathering is to run through your itinerary, the team, your flights, your food, the activities, money, Wi-Fi, with the goal that by the end of this little chat, you are going to feel fully organized and your expectations with what's to come are completely aligned. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through each section. So, and then you're to kind of ask questions as we go along. So please ask questions, make it interactive. Otherwise, I just will be talking at you. So we should be here for if we're slick and organized for about half an hour. So brace yourselves, okay? If you need a cup of tea, go and get one now. I've got one at the ready. Okay, so let me just get your team sheet up. Right. There are 12 of you booked on right now, and one, two, three, with four boys. So 8 girls, 4 boys. I would imagine by the time that you go, Zoe's just told me that there are a couple of people that she's talking to. So you could be up to kind of 14 by the you go. Great size trip. I lead my own trips around the world, and I love a team size of 12. It's really good. You work as one beast. So it will be really good. It'll be fun. You'll have one fantastic leader who at this moment in time is looking like it's going to be Mike. Mike is Costa Rican himself. He's in his kind of late 30s. He's uber cool. He used to be in the police, so he's got lots of stories up his sleeve before he turned into a guide in Monteverde. So he knows a lot about Costa Rica and also a lot about the wildlife and the natural habitat which you're going to see. So he's a really interesting, fun man. In relation to that, you probably will have a backup leader who we haven't decided who that's going to be right now, but there will be one. Okie dokes. So you are all, let me just get your flight information up. My flights. Okay, so you're all on the Air Canada flight, bar Victoria, who's going with Swiss Air. Okay, so what you will need for your Air Canada flight is you'll need your Canada ESTA to go out there. And on your return, you're coming via the United States. So therefore, you will need your USA ESTA. Do not forget those two things. Okay, absolutely critical. And give yourselves time. You need at least 48 hours, at least. In fact, I'd say just if you haven't got them, get them now to avoid disappointment, okay? Because you can't get on the plane without them. So for those leaving on the Air Canada flight, you're departing at Heathrow at 9:30. So you need to be there 8:30, 7:30, 6:30. I was like 2.5 to 3 hours before departure. But then, that's me. I just get a bit nervous, Nelly, when it comes to, going through all the different landmark, things you have to do at Heathrow. So we're setting up a WhatsApp group for you. Do start talking on it. There's got to be a brave person that starts the chat. But if you don't worry. Just get to Heathrow, chuck all your bags on, go through passport control, and meet the other side. Okay? So meet in one of the cafes, and that's when you need to say the first person, I've arrived, I'm at Costa, or wherever the landmark is. That's where you will gather, and then from there, you'll then get through onto your aeroplane. You're not sitting together because you've all done individual bookings. And away you go. When you get to the other side, Okay, you are going to be picked up by our team. So you come out of customs, you go through these huge slidey doors into the outside kind of covered area. When you're there, you'll know exactly what I mean. Okay. And you're to wait there, and there will be somebody with a sign saying the leap. And you get into the bus, and then you go to the Rose of America, which is our kind of hotel of choice, which is about a 20-minute journey from the airport. It is one of those kind of funky, kind of cozy Costa Rican hotels, which you're going to get used to, which is literally, don't know what it is about Costa Rica, but they like to paint everything bright green and to paint toucans all over the walls with a corrugated iron roof. Okay, you'll get so used to this. So the corrugated iron roof looks fantastic, is fantastic, works a good one. But when it rains, oh my God, do you hear it? So anyway, that's where you're going to be at the Rosa. It's got a little pool, so you can have a swim, have supper, and go to bed. Okay, so that's your arrival time. The next day, you're all going to be up bright and early, and you're going to head off for phase one, which is the Quepos phase. This it takes about 2.5 hours to get there, down on the Pacific coast, kind of heading west onto the Pacific. And this is where you're going to spend the first 5 days living in a finca, which is an old farmhouse right next door to the Manuel Antonio National Park. So that will be home from home. It's a really cool place. It's got a pool, badminton. It's you just really the aim of phase one is that you all bond, and so all your kind of meals, everything's included here. So you just chill out and get rid of your jet lag. But during the day, you will be going down to the fishing village, which we've been supporting for years now. And they love every month a group of leapers coming through to work at the community centre, which really supports the kids whose parents have gone to school, gone to work. So it's like an after school club, or for the littlest, it's like a full-time nursery. So that's where you're going to be helping. There's so much to be done. And Eduardo, when he's down there, will be piling up all the jobs. He does it every month. Right, this needs doing, that needs doing. And I know you're only there for 2 days helping at the project, but there's 12 of you. There's a lot you can achieve. So that's what you're doing there. And at the same time, you'll be going into Manuel Antonio National Park to explore it. One time you'll be going in just to hike and see all the amazing animals and bird life. And the next time you'll be going on a different route to see all the waterfalls. Now the rainy season it's been so super hot. The weather has gone completely topsy-turvy, and it hasn't rained yet. Everyone is delighted if it rains to clear the air. So if it does rain, the waterfalls are still alive and kicking. So, you're going to have a fantastic, fabulous time, kind of picnic by the waterfalls, swimming in, and there's loads of them, that you see on your hike. Okay, so that's phase one. All food here is included, but you might want to go out for supper one night for an early pizza after you've done your afternoon with the kids, but totally up to you. You play that by ear. Okay. Then phase two, which is going to Natuwa Wildlife Sanctuary. Okay. Now this is everyone's challenge. Okay. Everyone loves it, but it is the tough bit because you've got to get up so early. It is hot and steamy in the wildlife centre, and that's why you got to get up early when it's cooler to feed all the animals. If you don't, you'll be awake anyway because they'll be screeching. There's so many birds there that need to be fed. And so, you're up early feeding the wildlife, preparing all the food and getting it out, and doing odd jobs there that need to be done. This is a government-run wildlife centre, so which is quite interesting because further on down the line, you go to Serenis, which is a privately run wildlife centre. So you see how the difference is. This completely relies on outside volunteers and the income that you bring to them to survive. And it is not a zoo. You know, people think, is this a zoo? Because they're in cages. It's not. It's a sanctuary for endangered and animals that have been injured, have been rehabilitated, but they wouldn't exist. They wouldn't survive going back into the wild. But you'll learn all about that. But what you see up close and personal is really exciting. Okay, your bedroom's very close to where the lemurs are just, not the lemurs, the sloths are just hanging out, the laziest things in the world. So anyway, that is phase two. From there, you go higher to Monteverde. This is the cloud forest, which is very different from the Manuel Antonio National Park in phase one. Okay, completely different. This is drippy cloud forest. It's much, much cooler. This is Mike's land. He knows Monteverde inside out. This is where he's been a guide for many, many years. So he's going to take you to extraordinary places on great hikes. Yes, you've got the hanging bridges. You'll go and visit a reforestation project that he has been championing for years. But at the same time, every morning you're going to have an organized activity with Mike, but in the afternoon, you're going to have free time to do some of the insane activities which are on offer in Monteverde. Okay, starting off with everyone's top favorite is the zip wire. I would highly recommend you do this. This is super cool. It is super scary, but if I can do it with my bunch of kind of ladies, you can definitely do it. Okay. Now, at the end, before you rip off at the end, you go on a Superman thing, right across the biggest canyon. And at the end, you think, oh, I'm going to rip off my harness and everything. But don't, because there is a final thing around the corner, which is called the Tarzan swing. And if you're thinking, I wanted to do a bungee jump, but do I, don't I? This actually might seal the deal because it's one of those Tarzan swings. You climb up onto a platform and you throw yourself off the platform and free fall and then swing right over the canopy and back. I didn't actually do it. I chickened out at this stage. I said I ripped my harness off too early, but I did that on purpose. So if you like that type of thing, crazy, it's there on offer. Okay. And then the bungee jump, that is a separate activity where you go right into the center of one of the canyons and throw yourself off. I mean, who knew that people want to do this? But there's a few leapers on every trip that want to do it. Just could you make sure your insurance covers it? Okay. Just make sure that whatever insurance you've bought covers bungee jumping. Okay. Because you'll be amazed how many people's don't. Okay, and it's really important that it does before you do it. Okay, horse riding, that's another favorite people love to do. You could do that there up in the hills, or you could do it down at the coast when you're at Santa Teresa. So that's a lovely fun thing to do. Okay, so from Monteverde, you then go down for your final, I think it's 11 nights, which are based in Santa Teresa, which is the hub of kind of the leap kind of whole. Everything is based in Santa Teresa, and you're going to absolutely love it. You're going to be staying at Jaquira, which is our partner's center of the universe. It was a camp set up by Chris and his wife. It's uber cool. It's about a 10-minute hike up from the beach in the jungle. It's got a kind of pool. It's got a kind of area where you kind of chill out, kind of barbecues, and then lots of cottages all scattered around the garden where you'll live. There's a kind of famous monkey house where I think you'll all be staying. So it's an uber cool hostel. Okay, it's more than a hostel. It's going to be you definitely feel like it's your home. From here, while you're here, you will have a little bit of time off because up until this moment, you haven't had a moment to yourself. So this is when you arrive, you will have a kind of day or two of like, downtime before you get stuff into surfing, yoga. There's a lovely community project that we support there at the school, and you will go whip off for 2 days 2 nights, 3 days to Serenus, which is the turtle sanctuary. You will walk at low tide around the coast to that. It takes about an hour and a half, and it's absolutely glorious. It's one of my favorite places. It is kind of like wild. There's nothing there. It's just a beach that goes on forever and ever and ever with nothing on it apart from wild jungle. And this little sanctuary because you've got turtles which come every single year to the same beach. So what you'll learn here, you've got a great team that will teach you all about the life cycle of the turtle, where they go in their teenage years, and how they manage to come back to the same beach year after year. So it's really interesting. So the turtle season has been and gone, but you never say never. I went out in June a couple of years ago and saw a mother turtle coming up onto the beach. The seasons are so unpredictable with climate change. You never know what you're going to get. You never know what weather you're going to get. You know, it is just crazy nowadays. So, if you're lucky, you're lucky. If not, there's still a lot of work that needs to be done in clearing out old nests with new nests. So you'll be super busy there. And then you'll go back to Santa Teresa, celebrate, yay, your big 4 weeks, back to San Jose and fly home or fly beyond wherever you're going. Okay. Does that sound like the itinerary you had signed up for? Yeah, pretty good. Okay. Does that sound good? Can we have a thumbs up? Thumbs up. Great, great, great. I was just checking you're all awake. Okay, great. So that's your itinerary. Any questions on the itinerary? No? Come on, August, you're about to ask one.
Wasn't as much to do with the itinerary as I was going to ask. Given the fact that you've been there, what's something that most people really forget to bring that you would highly recommend taking?
Okay, hold that thought. Hold
Okay.
that thought. We'll come on to kit. Okay. So that's your order of events. Now, if the Monteverde and Natuwa flip round, that it's just a kind of logistical thing. So that hasn't been kind of completely set in stone which one comes first, but you'll be doing the first 3 phases and then you end up down in Santa Teresa at the end. Okay. Now, just want to briefly talk about food, which meals are included and what is not. Okay. So when you're in the first phase at Quepos, all your food is included. In Natua, all your food is included. When you're in Monteverde and Santa Teresa, only your breakfast and lunch is included. Okay, supper is out and about, and we do that so you have the freedom to go and live your best life because there's some super cool places to go out and experience. Okay, when you're at Serenas, all your food's included. Now, the food that's included is going to be a mix of Western and local food. So, yes, you have got to get used to eating pinto, okay? Pinto and beans. They love vegetarian food out in Costa Rica. Kind of lovely kind of fritters made out of squash, and it's really healthy stuff. So brace yourself for a complete mix of random food. But any food allergies, just let us know. And I think you already have, and they can all be accommodated. Okay, that's not a problem. Now, supper out. This now goes in. Now we're moving into budget territory. Okay, I'm telling you now, Costa Rica is eye-wateringly expensive. Okay, it is just one of those countries that is expensive. So you are going to have to really be careful with what you spend your money on with budgeting. So when you're going to go out for supper in the evenings, you're not going to go to the really flash restaurant where cocktails cost, $20 a cocktail. They exist, especially in Santa Teresa, okay? You're going to be savvy and you're going to go to the local restaurants with local menus. And if you're going to go for a cocktail, you're going to ask the guides and you're going to find out when happy hour is and which bar it is. and you're going to work the system, okay? On the feedback form, if anybody puts, you didn't tell me how expensive it is, I will email you saying, yes, I did. Okay. So budgeting, I would say most people spend about 250 pounds a week on food, extra fiddling about. Okay. In addition to that, I want you to budget for your big ticket items. The big ticket items being um, going on the zip wire, bungee jumping, and you may want to do when you're at the coast, going on the Tortuga Island tour, okay? Which is budget $100. It's like 110 or $95 for each of those trips, okay? You don't have to do them all. I'm just telling you, if you do, you know, have a kind of separate pocket of cash squirreled away for big ticket items. All right. Getting cash out, you need to take a Revolut, Starling, one of those cards which is free transactions. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about? In addition to your normal debit card. Okay, I want you to take out two cards. Now, in some restaurants, you can do Apple Pay. I know it's really high tech, but most of you will be getting money out of the ATM. Okay. So why I want you to take two cards is there is no post to Costa Rica, nada. So if you lose a card, okay, that's it. Parents cannot send a replacement card to you. So if that happened, which has happened many a time before, then the easiest way is that you ask a friend if your parents can put money onto their card and they get money out for you from the hole in the wall. Okay, but we want to avoid that. So from a safety point of view, how you manage your money is on day one, you'll be taken to get some cash out of the ATM. Okay. When you're in any accommodation, you squirrel away. There's going to be a safe facility. You squirrel away some money and one of your cards. Okay. So you never, when you go out, take two cards out with you at any one time, just in case you decide to think it's a really good idea to put your bag down on a table in a bar and walk away, because when you come back, it won't be there. Okay. So what I want you to take is you don't need to take out a sad money belt, like old people wear, like myself, which goes under your shirt. I know that's really sad. You want to take one of those crossbody bags. Yeah. Boys, even you, a crossbody bag, which you think is pretty cool. So you would wear out in the evening and you can keep it on. Okay. That's what you need. At all times, you never, ever, ever put your bag down. Always have it on. So your challenge is to get a groovy bag before you go that does just that. Okay? Any questions on money? Okay? On bag safety. Okay? It's very important now, the bag safety. Okay, so we've done food, we've done money, Wi-Fi. Okay, when you get there, you're going to be taken to the local Zim place to get a local Costa Rican Zim. Cheap as chips. Okay, that apps that cheap, cheap, cheap. Then you just put it into your phone. Good practice again, like taking two cards. If you did have a backup phone at home that no one that's looking for some love and it's chucked into a drawer in the kitchen, pop it in your bag just in case you didn't listen to me and you went out and you left your phone on the bar. But you can put a local Zim in, or if you don't want to do a local Zim, there is Wi-Fi in various places. Really poor Wi-Fi and reception in stage 1 in Quepos. No Wi-Fi, but good reception at Natuwa. Good Wi-Fi in Monteverde, good Wi-Fi at Santa Teresa. Okay, so actually just running through it, you do want to get a local SIM. Okay, so parents, when they are in Quepos, and in Natura, reception is dodgy, so no news is good news. Um, and if there was an incident, then I would be, getting in contact with everybody. Okay? Does that make sense? Everyone happy? Everyone happy so far? Any questions? Plugs, electronics, you need an American adapter. Okay? Right. Kit, what to take. August, you're right. The thing that is the most important thing is your crossbody bag. Okay? And in the kit list, I'm going to be sending you a revised itinerary in the next couple of days. We're just waiting for Lily just to get the order of Natua and Monteverde correct. But in that, there will be a revised kit list. You need gear that it's going to be hot and steamy, okay, wherever apart from when you're in Monteverde, which can be chilly. So you need a pair of leggings and a long sleeve top and maybe a hoodie type thing, okay? But everywhere else, it's hot and steamy. So you're just going to be in shorts, t-shirts, little skirts, little dresses. Yes, when you're in Monteverde and especially in Santa Teresa especially, it's a super cool place where everybody wants to kind of dress up in the evening to go out. So, I know you girls will have, little kind of dresses and things, pop a couple in your bag because you'll want to wear them at Santa Teresa. Boys, I know what you're like. I'm a mother of two sons, pair of shorts and a shirt, t-shirt, anything goes. All right, so don't overthink it. Shoes, however, really important. I do want you to overthink it because we don't want you to take too much gear. I would be taking a pair of your trainers, which you love, which everybody wears in the evening, a pair of knackered trainers, which you don't care about and won't be coming home with you. Okay, that you're going to wear when you're on the hikes, when you're doing project work, um, and they're just going to get smelly and horrible. If they get wet, it doesn't matter. Okay, but you want to have a little bit of a grippy sole so that when you go on the hikes into the cloud forests and the national park, that you're not going to slip over all the time. And in addition to that, a pair of flip-flop sliders, the two-strap Arizona Birkenstocks, they're the best. Okay, when I was out there, August, the two-strap Arizona was my friend. Best pair of shoes I earned. I know they're not that attractive, but you lot can rock it. I sadly didn't, but they're really good. Really, really good. Especially if you get the plastic ones where you can, wash and go. So practical. A lot of people take Crocs. I'm not a great fan of Crocs. I know even you lot might be able to rock the vibe, but let's be honest, no one can really rock a Croc. So the two strap Birkies are really good. Okay. When it comes to your luggage, okay, we don't want any hard suitcases. Okay. You know, those fancy suitcases, which I kind of covet, that everybody's got four wheels and it's rock solid, useless out in Costa Rica. You need to take a bag which is slightly malleable because you're going to be chucking it on the top of a minibus, chucking it behind chairs in the minibus. So it needs to be a little bit malleable. Okay. Rucksack or a kind of soft duffel which is on wheels, up to you. Doesn't matter. Whatever you like. A good little day rucksack is useful for when you're on the hikes. Water bottle essential, hat essential, and rehydrates are essential. It is hot and sweaty out there. And when it comes to health and safety, one of the biggest problems people have is dehydration. And this can kind of creep up on you in 100 different ways. You can wake up with headaches, body aches, joint aches, thinking, oh God, am I getting a cold? Am I getting a flu or something? It can make you feel quite grotty. And often it's just dehydration. So I want you to take some rehydration salts, which you could get from any supermarket. They come in a long tube. Voss is one brand, but you'll see in any supermarket. And they're effervescent. You drop them into your water bottle, and I want you to take one every morning and one every evening. Literally, especially in the first 2 weeks while your body is getting used to working in the heat. Okay? That's really important. While we're on health and safety, so dehydration is my biggest worry, and cuts and mosquito bites. There aren't that many mozzies around, but if you're one of those people that always gets bitten, then you're going to get bitten. The key is not to scratch them, because in the tropics, the simplest cut in that humidity takes double the length of time to heal because of the weather. Alrighty? So just look after your cuts. And if you think, oh, this doesn't look right, you go straight to Mike, you show him the wound, and he will whip you to the pharmacy in Costa Rica, who are fabulous. Okay? You can get anything done at the pharmacy. Okay? So if you were to be ill, what happens? Okay? You go to Mike or any of the guides that say, I'm not feeling great, might have tonsillitis, whatever it is. Okay, you go straight to the guide. They will talk to you about it, and then probably first protocol take you to one of the local pharmacies, which are brilliant. And the pharmacists there are like doctors, they can prescribe many, many things. So antibiotics, all of that, they can do an assessment and prescribe there and then. If that doesn't work, you then go to the doctor. If that doesn't work, then you would go to the hospital. So, and there, wherever you are, there are those hospitals jotted around. In Monteverde, the nearest hospital though is back in San Jose. I know, it's really annoying. And that's a 3 hour trip. So the insurance, we would arrange everything for you. You would go with one of the guides, but the taxi cost would have to be kind of paid for, and then you'd get that back from the insurance. So that's just one of the things, one of the kind of a little gremlins that we have to be mindful of is the distance from Monteverde to San Jose. But there's before that, there are really good clinics in between. And the last time we had to use it, an ambulance took them from A to B. So it's all been tried and tested. Um, any questions so far? All good? Okay, bear with me, bear with me. We're nearly there. We're moving on to the last point, which is team dynamics. Okay? So this is where I kind of sound like a teacher, combined with your mother. Okay, so just bear with me. Okay, this is a team experience. The leap, and for everything that I champion as a human being, is teamwork. Okay, that's why we do teamwork. Okay, we know that the majority of you have never met each other before, and arriving at the airport is going to be quite daunting. Okay, I know that when I lead my groups, it's exactly the same vibe. You still feel it when you're 56. Okay, so you're going to be looking out for each other. There's going to be some of you who are more confident than others. They've got to step forward and bring everybody in, and you will find your rhythm. Okay, you will find your place within the team, you'll find your confidence, but it could take a few days, could take a first week to settle in. So brace yourself, talk to the guides, yeah, bracing yourself and be patient, okay, as you get into the groove. Okay, but I want everybody to look out for each other and to be kind and inclusive. No cliques, no groups, none of this. That is long gone. The old school dynamics, that's a thing of the past. Okay, that when you start judging people on day one, let me tell you, by day 28, you will acknowledge that you might have got it so wrong. So be really open-minded, kind, and inclusive. What you are also, I'm going to talk about is the disciplinary. Okay. Again, team, I want you, this is not a school trip. I want you to go out and have a few drinks. I want you to have fun. You're going to work hard and play hard. That is the essence of a leap trip. But the playing hard, it's got to be done responsibly. Okay. We are responsible for you. Mike is responsible for you. Okay. So you, you know, going out and thinking it's a really good idea to get absolutely howling drunk and then get on the back of someone's motorbike who you've only just met in the bar and whizzing off into the sunset is not a good idea. Okay. It really, really is not. Drunken disorderly behavior is really tiresome, and actually you put yourself in danger when you're there. Girls, especially, that South American culture is very different. Okay? South American men, they think they rule the roost. Be careful. Okay? You never go out on your own. You never leave someone behind in the evening. You go out as a team, you come back as a team. Okay? We send hundreds of people to Costa Rica each year. They all remain safe. They all remain in good fettle if they follow the guidelines and just are responsible for themselves and respectful, therefore, to everybody else and the guides. Now, if you don't do this, this is what's going to happen. Okay, you're going to be that prat. And Mike's going to say, you're being that prat. Did you think that was a good idea? And you're going to go, no, I'm really embarrassed, hopefully. And he'd go, right, that's the end of it. If you do it again, he's going to say, you're that prat again. And now I've got to give you a verbal warning. And then he has to tell me. And I'm like, oh, God damn it. I then go stomping around the kitchen thinking, really? Then if you do it again, you get a written warning. I then have to call your parents and say, right, they've been a real idiot. They're really disrespectful. They're really boring, the rest of the group. And if you do it again, you're asked to leave. Okay, so it's really, and I haven't asked anybody to leave in years. So don't be the first. Okay, so I'm not leaving on that note because that's such a Debbie Downer of a note. Okay, so back into a happy place. You're all going to have a fantastic time. Teamwork is it, and it is going to be challenging. It is going to be rewarding. That is the whole point of it. This whole experience is going to add amazing stuff to your CV. And at the end, it is a perfect way for you to demonstrate to future employees that you've got teamwork, good communication, you've got resilience, you're a problem solver, all of these things. So think about that while you're going through it. This is not a jolly, this is actually giving you evidence to make your CV really shine. So that's just a bit of a Brucey bonus. Okay? Any questions? Right. Okay. I think we're done and dusted. Happy? Groovy. Okay. So we will send you the itinerary in due course. We're going to link you up to WhatsApp. Any questions, get in contact. And the last thing is, have a very successful trip. Have fun, team. Over and out.